Have you ever wondered what shaped Martin Luther King Jr. into the influential civil rights leader we remember today? His journey began in Atlanta, Georgia, born on January 15, 1929, into a family deeply rooted in the Baptist Church. His father, Martin Luther King Sr., was a prominent minister, and young Martin Jr. would follow in his footsteps, becoming a minister himself. Martin Jr.'s early life was steeped in the teachings of the church, which emphasized love, justice, and service to others. But it wasn't just religion that shaped him. He was a brilliant student, skipping 2 grades in high school and later attending Morehouse College at the tender age of 15. It was at Morehouse that he first encountered the writings of Henry David Thoreau and Mahatma Gandhi, which would profoundly influence his philosophy of nonviolent resistance. After Morehouse, King attended Crozer Theological Seminary and later earned his doctorate in systematic theology from Boston University. It was during his time in Boston that he met Coretta Scott, who would become his wife and partner in the civil rights movement. In 1955, King's leadership skills were put to the test when he was chosen to lead the Montgomery bus boycott, a pivotal event in the civil rights movement. His ability to inspire and unite people was immediately evident, and his reputation as a leader grew. King's eloquent speeches and his commitment to nonviolent resistance became hallmarks of his leadership style and were instrumental in mobilizing the civil rights movement. King's rise to prominence wasn't accidental. It was the result of his deep-seated commitment to social justice, his intellectual prowess, and his unwavering belief in the power of nonviolent resistance. His early life experiences and influences shaped him into a leader who was able to galvanize a movement and change the course of history. As we will see, these early experiences laid the foundation for King's remarkable journey as a civil rights leader. What makes I Have a Dream a speech that continues to resonate with us today? This question stands at the heart of understanding Martin Luther King Jr.'s enduring legacy. Delivered on a warm summer day in Washington, D.C., King's I Have a Dream speech was not just a rallying cry for civil rights, but a clarion call for justice and equality. As King stood before a sea of people, his words painted a vivid landscape of a future where all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, "Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last." Yet, the significance of King's speech extends beyond its powerful rhetoric. It was a pivotal moment in the civil rights movement, galvanizing activists and inspiring change. King's message of nonviolent resistance and his vision of a society where people are judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character, challenged the status quo and sparked a nationwide conversation about race and equality. But perhaps what makes King's I Have a Dream speech so enduring is its universal appeal. Its themes of freedom, justice, and equality transcend borders, generations, and cultures. Even today, King's dream continues to inspire activists and ordinary people alike, reminding us of our shared humanity and our collective responsibility to fight for a better world. King's dream was not just a vision, but a call to action that continues to inspire us. Why did King believe in nonviolent resistance, and how did it shape the civil rights movement? This question takes us to the heart of Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy. King firmly believed in the power of nonviolent resistance, a conviction shaped by his deep-rooted faith and inspired by the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. For King, nonviolence was not merely a tactic, but a way of life, a philosophy that rejected violence as a means to political or social change. His commitment to nonviolence had a profound influence on the civil rights movement. Through peaceful protests, sit-ins, and marches, King and his followers challenged racial injustice, drawing attention to the plight of African Americans while maintaining a moral high ground. His philosophy continues to resonate today, influencing social justice movements around the globe. From the fight for racial equality to climate justice, King's legacy of nonviolent resistance remains a beacon of hope and a powerful tool for change. King's commitment to nonviolence was not just a strategy, but a deeply held belief that continues to inspire activists worldwide. How did King's leadership transform the civil rights movement and shape American history? Let's delve into this by first looking at some key civil rights campaigns where King played a crucial role. The Montgomery bus boycott, which began in 1955, is an example of one such campaign. It was sparked by Rosa Parks' arrest for refusing to give up her bus seat to a white passenger. King's involvement in this boycott, his advocacy for nonviolent resistance, and his inspirational speeches helped to galvanize the African American community in Montgomery and eventually led to the desegregation of the city's public transportation system. Another significant campaign was the Birmingham Campaign of 1963. Aimed at ending racial segregation in Birmingham, Alabama, this campaign was marked by King's arrest and his subsequent letter from Birmingham jail. This poignant letter, written from his prison cell, became a manifesto for the civil rights movement, highlighting the moral duty to resist unjust laws. King's leadership was not limited to these campaigns. He was also instrumental in organizing the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom in 1963, where he delivered his iconic "I Have a Dream" speech. This march is widely credited with helping to pass the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. King's influence extended to the Voting Rights Act of 1965 as well. This act, considered one of the most significant pieces of civil rights legislation in American history, prohibited racial discrimination in voting. King's tireless advocacy and leadership were crucial to the passage of this act. In essence, King's leadership was transformative. His ability to mobilize masses, his unyielding commitment to nonviolence, and his eloquent oratory skills played a pivotal role in the progress of the civil rights movement. His leadership not only led to significant legislative achievements but also left an indelible mark on American history. King's leadership was instrumental in advancing the civil rights movement and effecting legislative change. What was King's broader vision for social and economic justice, you might ask? Martin Luther King Jr. was not just a civil rights leader, but a champion for economic justice and human dignity. He fervently advocated for fair wages, affordable housing, and an end to poverty, believing that economic inequality was a critical dimension of racial discrimination. King's Poor People's Campaign, launched in 1968, aimed to address economic disparities, demonstrating his understanding of the intersectionality of social, racial, and economic injustices. He recognized that the fight for civil rights was intertwined with the fight for economic opportunities and the basic human dignity that comes with it. King's activism was not confined to a single issue. It was an all-encompassing vision of a society where every individual, regardless of their race or economic status, could live a life of dignity and prosperity. King's vision extended beyond civil rights, encompassing a broader struggle for social and economic equality. How do we remember and honor Martin Luther King Jr. today? This is a question we should all ask ourselves as we reflect on the life and legacy of this remarkable figure. King's dream of a world where everyone is judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, continues to inspire countless individuals and movements around the globe. His teachings remain a beacon of hope in our ongoing struggle for justice and equality. The values he championed, compassion, tolerance, and nonviolent resistance, are as relevant today as they were during the civil rights movement. To truly honor King's memory, we can embrace these values in our daily lives. We can serve our communities, stand up against injustice, and educate ourselves and others about the importance of equality and human rights. In doing so, we keep King's dream alive and contribute to making his vision a reality. King's teachings continue to inspire us to strive for a more just and equitable world. What were the events leading up to King's assassination, and how did they impact the civil rights movement? It was April 4, 1968, a day that would forever change the course of American history. Martin Luther King Jr., the charismatic leader of the civil rights movement, was tragically assassinated at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. King was in Memphis to support a strike by the city's predominantly black sanitation workers, advocating for their economic rights and dignity. The news of King's death sent shockwaves across the nation, sparking widespread unrest and protests. The civil rights movement had lost its guiding light, and the struggle for racial equality was left with a deep, irreplaceable void. King's assassination marked a pivotal moment of transition for the movement as it grappled with its future direction without its most influential leader. Yet, in the midst of such despair, King's legacy endured. His teachings of nonviolent resistance and his dream of racial equality continued to fuel the civil rights movement. His vision of a society where individuals are judged by their character, not their color, remained a beacon of hope for future generations. King's tragic death was a profound loss, yet his dream lives on in the ongoing struggle for racial justice and equality. Even today, as we continue to strive for a more equitable society, we remember Martin Luther King Jr. not just for how he died, but for what he lived for and the enduring change he inspired.